I'm putting my faith in this jack right now. So I went ahead and grabbed some handy, if it's being nice. Oh. What's up, guys? Hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you for coming by for another video. As you can see from the title, the Audi unfortunately needs some brake pads. So today I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna show you guys the process on how I do that. It's not too difficult. Should be about 20 minutes per side, give or take. And yeah, let's get right into it. All right, guys, so for this install, you don't really need much. You're going to go ahead and need, obviously, a jack. You're going to go ahead and need your 17mm socket tool, whatever you use. You're going to go ahead and want to grab a 13mm, whether it's a box end or a ratchet, it does not really matter. You're going to want to need a 17-inch open end for sure to hold the lock screw on the caliper. And you're going to want to grab a piston compressor tool, whether it's one of those or one of these, it doesn't really matter. And I grabbed a flathead just in case for the pad sensor clip. These are the pads I ran. There's some cheapies. You know, I wasn't too worried about it. I'm gonna get Stop Tech set here soon, so I was not too worried about the pads that I bought here. They're just some carbon fiber ceramic. If I can even get these out of the box, hold on a second here. You see they have the sensor and whatnot there. These should do the job just fine. Not too worried about it here, as I do have a daily driver until I get the Stop Tech. So this is just to get that annoying light off of my dash. And yeah, boys, let's do this. So first step is obviously jack the car up, and let's get the wheel off. All right, guys, so we went and got the wheel off. I do recommend using a jack stand. As you can see, my lazy ass is not using one, but I do recommend you use one just for safety measures. I'm putting my faith in this jack right now, although I do believe it will hold me. I would not recommend doing this. It's just a lot smarter to use your jack, so be sure to use your jack. Next step, now that we have the wheel off, is going to be to grab our 13-inch ratchet or open end and our 17mm open end. All right, guys, once you have your tools ready to go, you're gonna go on ahead and get into the inside of the caliper, and there will be the 13 you attach the ratchet to, or your open end, and you will need that open end for this lock nut right here on the caliper. This will be your 17. And you're gonna go ahead and just loosen this up, and I'll be back. All right, once you loosen it out, it should be a bolt. Looks just like this one. This is your 13. All right. And you will want to run the exact same step to the bottom nut. So there's the top nut we just did right here, and there is one directly below it. And that's the only two that hold on this caliper cover. So go ahead and do the same thing to the bottom. And just like that, we got our second one out. Now the caliper is resting. You're gonna wanna grab maybe a zip tie, or if you have a, you know, any type of those rubber hangers you can hang up on, attach it to your spring maybe. But either way, you're gonna wanna find a place to hang this caliper, and I will do that and be right back. So I went ahead and grabbed some handy, I'll try that again. So I went ahead and grabbed some handy dandy zip ties. These come in handy, you know the deal. They honestly use for anything, it's like duct tape. So I'm gonna go ahead and use these to secure my caliper to somewhere right there that's not gonna break anything, and I'll show you what I did. All right, so if you can see, I basically made a chain of about 3 or 4 zip ties to hold that out of my way. A little bit more difficult than I thought doing it with one person, but yeah, get that hung up. And your next step would be to literally pull the pads out. Take a gander at them. These are looking like, not that bad. Check the other side. Pretty even wear. But as you can see, I was getting that annoying brake sensor alert on my dash because that busted the fuse. So let's get these swapped out. Literally the same thing. You just pop the new ones right in. Now just don't forget to unplug your brake pad sensor and replug the new one in. If you've never unplugged this before, it's not a bad idea to take the new one and basically figure out how it unclips so you don't break any clips. Take your time, don't break a clip, and make sure you put the right pads on the right side, because only one of these sides have a sensor. The other pads have no sensor, so you don't want to screw yourself on that one. Be sure to replace that sensor, and I'll be back once I do. All right, boys, so pull this off of its little holder there, and you'll have better access to visualize and see how that clip comes undone. But should be good to go there. Shouldn't have an issue taking that off. Go ahead and slip. You're gonna want to slip the new sensor on and install the pad if it's being nice. Oh, this one's already bent. Let me restart. All right, guys, and when you're installing this pad or any of these pads, you're gonna want to make sure to put these pins in first, because these are what give the pad a little bit of tension while they're just resting in here. Let me try to do it one-handed and show you guys what I mean. So these pins are gonna set against the flat part of this edge, kind of like that. And you're gonna do the same thing to the top, put that side in first. And you can press against while the rest of it slips in. Kind of like that, boom, bang. Nice and solid. Got both the brand new pads on. Here are the old junkers. Had about like 4 or 5 mil left, but still, sensor came on. Time to replace them. All right, guys, I just wanted to mention, I'm only doing pads because my rotors are still good. I got these not that long ago. I got them about 10,000 miles ago. So if you aren't sure, just go ahead and give your rotor a nice feel all the way up and down. And if you can feel a lip right at the top, kind of where the pad would be making a groove, then you kind of know you're getting close to needing some rotors. Mine are literally smooth all up and down. There's no ridge at all, no lip. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep these for another set. I replace my rotors every 2 pads. I know the dealers might try to get you rotors every time, but it's honestly not necessary unless you're doing really hard track use, and at that point you already know the deal. So just wanted to add that in, guys. And once you have your inside pad in, your outside pad in, make sure you grab your brake pad sensor and clip it into its new home. Like so. Boom, click. That's all secured. All right, guys, now that we got both pads in, check right there, make sure they're secure. All your pins are in on each side. Make sure your new sensor is secured, put it back into its holder. And the next step is going to be compressing this piston. And what I like to do is pop the hood.
Hey, pop the hood.
Pop the hood?
Pop the hood.
Pop the hood, we come over here to our reservoir. And gonna go ahead and just take the cap off, set it somewhere safe. That might not be safe for you, but it's safe for me here. And we're gonna compress this piston. All right, guys, so once you have your piston spreader tool in here, you're gonna wanna just expand that until the piston is flush against its little home there. And I'm gonna do that right now. As you open the master cylinder for the brake fluid, it should make this a little bit easier for you. And voila, we have a freed up space for 2 new pads. And it is not a bad idea to go and add a dollop of grease, just where metal on metal contact is gonna be. I did that on both sides. It's optional. Honestly, I've done it before and I haven't done it, haven't really noticed a difference, but for purposes of this video, we are adding some brake component lubricant. All right, guys, once you slip your caliper cover back on, obviously it's still loose, I haven't tightened it, you're going to want to grab the bolts you took out and reinsert them. All right, guys, once you guys have this secured back on, that will tidy up this side. And then you can go ahead and repeat the exact steps on the other side. After you guys get your wheel back on, don't forget, if you took this step, to go ahead and replace your reservoir cap. A nice little snug, the torque is in the wrist. And that's it, boys.